Hey, I'm Anderson Cooper. As a parent, you want to make sure that your child knows how to deal with bullying when they see it happening. And chances are they want to help, but they don't really know how. Well, teach them that the best thing to do is calmly walk away, find a teacher or other adult, and speak up. And do your part. Be that adult they can talk to and trust will listen. Join me to help stop bullying. Go to stopbullying.gov to find out more.
Now it's time for This Week in Bad Stats.
Bad stats?
Horrible stats. Here goes. 132.
That's how many batters struck out 4 times in one game last season.
Wow, very good. Here's a tough one, though. 3 and 4.
No idea.
That's how many kids witness bullying. 3 out of 4.
That's not a good stat.
No, it's not, but it can change. Kids want to help, but they don't know how. Visit stopbullying.gov and give them the tools they need to help prevent bullying.
There are plenty of safe ways kids can help at stopbullying.gov.
Talk to each other, and they get into these game rooms where there's 4 or 5 other guys. Now it's my 12-year-old son, 14-year-old son, if anybody stays after that, because I probably lost all credibility. That's right. I don't see him much. Last time I saw him, he was 12. So it's him, 2 of his friends, and then a 24-year-old guy or a 26-year-old guy. Now, they think it's cool because they're going to gang up on that guy, and they're going to shoot him in Call of Duty, and they're not going to revive him. Well, next thing you know, that guy remembers the name, and now he's got 5 of his 30-year-old loser buddies waiting for my son to sign on Xbox next time because now they're going to gang up on him. The language is horrible. It's horrible, and it's very loud. So if you're walking by their room, if you do it very quietly, you can hear the conversations that they're having. And they're filthy. We don't have conversations like that in a locker room at work. I mean, these guys are having some filthy conversations with these kids. So we need to listen to that. Even in Madden, they do the same thing. Okay, so you can only play 2 players. There's 1 player against the other player in Madden. But you're going to have a 30-year-old that wants to play with a 15-year-old because, number 1, he doesn't want to lose. And number 2, intellectually, he thinks he's better than that person. And that's a big one. Call of Duty. Everybody's got it. Half the guys I work with.
Since it came from my account, everyone thought I really sent it. Now I can't go anywhere at school without guys looking at me funny and people whispering and pointing at me when they think I can't see. I don't have any friends, and I don't even talk to Katie anymore. I feel so alone. I wish I could move somewhere and start over. I thought it was safe to share my password with my best friend.
So one of the favorite sayings in the high school is, we'll have a kid walk in my office or Mr. Waring's office. I got hacked. Well, what does that mean, you got hacked? Well, somebody got into my Facebook and then they were sending messages out about somebody else. So they didn't get hacked. What happened was they shared their password with a friend of theirs. And either that friend logged on as them and sent out something negative, or they knew what happened because they left that Facebook signed on at their friend's house. It happens where I work. I got 30-year-old guys that are doing it to other guys. So if it's happening at the police station, I know what's happening in the schools. You know, everybody's just waiting to see who's going to be victimized next. If there's a cell phone sitting on a desk in the police station, you can rest assured that that guy's wife is going to be calling him within the next 5 minutes to tell him you better check your Facebook. All right? So it's happening where I work. I know what's happening in the schools. And I got hacked. You didn't get hacked. You shared your password. You shared your new username. You shared your password. They're not sharing with their parents, but they're sharing it with their friends. Okay?
I used to have a
Want to see it again?
named Katie. We shared everything.
Okay. We're going to talk a little bit about the differences between direct bullying and cyberbullying. With direct bullying, it usually occurs on school property. These bullies usually have a poor relationship with teachers. They're usually the discipline problems that are in the class. There's a distinct fear of retribution with the bully because it's more physical than it is anything else, especially this confrontation kind of style. Usually there's physical hitting, punching, and shoving. There's verbal gossip, teasing, name-calling. Exclusion is huge, okay? And what exclusion is don't sit with her, okay? We don't sit at this table with her. We sit at this table, all right? And that's especially with the female population. Exclusion is huge. Cyberbullying, we're at a loss, okay? We don't always know the victim. It could occur on school property. It could occur off school property, all right, because we have cell phones now. It's anonymous. We don't always know who's doing it. We have Facebook pages that are created with fictitious names, and that's where all the messages are come from. We have YouTube accounts that are created with fictitious names, and then we're seeing all these negative videos. One just last week in Guilderland, okay? The one in Guilderland that was posted, Channel 6 and the school administrators contacted YouTube and asked them to take that video down. It took 5 hours for it to come down, and it was taken down by the user, the person that posted it in the first place. So they're very slow to react, very slow to react. With the cyberbullying, sometimes there's fear of loss of technology privileges. We have a very good software here at the school district that usually catches these guys. They can't sign on to Facebook. They can't walk into the computer lab and sign on to Facebook. Sometimes they try to create ways to get around it, and then Mr. Lindemann is usually pretty quick on getting into it and getting it out of there. It's a lot further under the radar. The cyberbullying is a lot further under the radar, and the problem is we don't have a lot of reports on it. We don't hear about it. 90% of middle school students said at some point in time they had their feelings hurt online. Now, that's not just something, it's negative, but it's not necessarily intentional. There's a lot of times where you would say to a girl, I think you're cute, on Facebook. And if she doesn't reply the way that you wanted her to reply, they consider that a negative behavior online. Okay? So it's not necessarily always intentional. All right, so we're going to talk about what we do in the police department to kind of combat this stuff. Currently, there is no New York State legislation governing bullying. Okay? There's state ed, but it's very hard for us to prosecute on state education law from the police department standpoint. There's also a county-wide bullying statute, which is useless because it's a violation. And in order for me to get something into family court, if the kid is under 16 years of age, I have to get at least a B misdemeanor out of it. And I can't do that with the county law. So what we do, because we are great thinkers in the police department, what we do is we take something that exists already and we morph it to fit our needs. And what we use is stalking. Stalking in the 4th degree. Now, it's not stalking like creeper stalking, somebody following me around all the time. What stalking is, it's a repeated course of conduct, it's negative behavior, and all I have to prove is that it hurts somebody's feelings. Which, somebody sends somebody a Facebook message that says, you should kill yourself today. It's not very hard for me to articulate that that might have hurt somebody's feelings. Okay? So that opens a door, and it's very broad for us. That B misdemeanor means that I can get them into family court. Now, we're trying something new. We're in the process of doing it. We're trying to do a youth court in the city of Watervliet. And what youth court is it's juniors, sophomores, juniors, and seniors that are at the high school. They compose a court. Attorneys, defense attorneys, prosecutors, judges, bailiff, jury, court clerk. They make up the court. They hear school violations. They hear violations of UPMs, like unlawful possession of marijuana is a violation. Normally we can't get that into family court, but we can get it into youth court. B misdemeanors, low-level misdemeanors, first-time offenders can all be seen in youth court. And what we do is, from the police department standpoint, gives us the opportunity to keep those infractions in the community. And it's all done with restorative justice. And restorative justice is just making the people that are involved, making them whole again. Colony does it right now, Bethlehem does it right now, and we're trying to model ours after theirs. But it opens the door for us, gets us the opportunity to get a lot more people in the system, in the youth court system, takes them out of the criminal justice system, and it makes them accountable to their peers, which is the biggest thing. Because me telling somebody that they were a jerk for bullying somebody is one thing, because I'm just lecturing. But when a senior is telling a junior that they were a jerk for bullying somebody and giving them penalties because of it, it's a lot more valuable. So we're moving towards that. We're in the process right now. The B misdemeanor gets us into family court. So all I have to say is that at some point in time, the mental or emotional health of that person was affected by what was said to them. It's a piece of cake. Slam dunk. We have third degree, which is the same as fourth degree, but there's 3 or more victims. Now we have suspects in the past that have sat in front of the library in the city of Watervliet and stole their wireless to send negative text messages and negative Facebook posts to other people in the school district. All right? And those are the cases that we love to put up against this. All right? Because not only do you not have your own wireless to bully somebody on, you're using public wireless to bully people. Now, the stalking goes all the way up to first degree. We'll go fourth. Sometimes we go third degree, but we'll never go higher than the third degree. The reason we don't go higher than the third degree is because the third degree starts stacking against you. All right? So after your third degree, after the second time we charge you with third degree stalking, at that point you're already on probation. And then they're just going to violate your probation from that point on. So there's no sense for us exceeding the stalking in the third degree. Now, the school penalties: in-school suspension, out-of-school suspension, superintendent's hearing, loss of extracurricular activity privileges. Those are all things that the school uses to penalize those that are caught up in this process as well. Now, I can tell you, it doesn't start that way. We start at mediation. We have the victim come to us right off the bat. We find out what's going on. We consult with the victim. We say, how do you want to deal with this? A lot of the times, it's mediation. We bring both parties in a room and say, listen, you got 2 adults here. You got two students here. Work it out. We'll shut up. You guys talk. Talk it out. Let's see what happens. If it doesn't work, then we start to go with the penalty phase. We'll go to the in-school suspension, then the out-of-school suspension, then the superintendent's hearing. And what a superintendent's hearing is the administrator can suspend up to 5 days out-of-school suspension. If they feel that whatever the infraction was requires more than that 5-day suspension, then they sit in front of a non-biased third party, and then that non-biased third party, based on the information that comes from the administrator and the suspect, will decide how long that suspension goes over that 5 days. And that's usually the last thing we get to, the highest penalty. Now, we're also going to try to use youth court in place of some of those ramifications as well. Because, and here's the great thing, and we saw it in Bethlehem Youth Court. Bethlehem had a kid that was truant. And I can't think of a better way to handle a truant kid than have them face one of their schoolmates and say why they're not going to school. The penalty for the kid that was truant was he had to spend 4 hours a week in a tutoring session with one of the tutors at the school or one of the people that worked on the youth court. 4 hours a week. Then he had to spend 8 hours a week tutoring at the elementary school. So he had to tutor a kid at the elementary school, which not only did he reconnect with the students that were at the high school by that tutoring session, he now saw how his knowledge could help somebody younger and kind of gave him the purpose to go back to school again. And that's one of the great things about Youthport. All right. This is Ryan Halligan. Ryan Halligan is a 13-year-old student in Vermont. Ryan is relentlessly bullied over the computer and at school. Never tells his parents. Never says anything. And the parents don't realize something's going on. They come home from school one day. Sister can't find Ryan. I don't know where Ryan is. Ryan committed suicide. He's upstairs in the bathroom. The parents come home, they find him. The father is distraught, the mother is distraught, and they can't figure out why. What could affect a 13-year-old so much that that's the decision that he feels is the only decision to make, to end it? Ryan's father, John Halligan, has now made it his personal mission to go from school to school to talk about what Ryan went through. I can't imagine how he can do it on a daily basis. But he goes all over the country to middle schools and high schools and talks to these kids about what happened to Ryan and how for these kids to avoid what happened in his life.
I pray that nobody here knows this kind of pain, this pain of losing a child. I am totally convinced that this is the worst pain that a human being could ever encounter in a life, is to lose a child. You all are loved beyond belief. And he found out that her friends and her
couple important things about that video. Number one, you didn't see one kid fooling around in that audience, okay? They're gripped on every word that he said. And the reason for that, and the reason why we have such success with this presentation, is because this affects every kid, right? Every kid knows about what we're talking about. They may not have been the bully, they may not have been the victim, but they know one or the other, and they've probably been a bystander. So we're not talking about say no to drugs, because kids may never take drugs their entire life. We're not talking about underage drinking, because it may not affect kids. Drinking and driving, kids may not drive before they leave high school. But this affects every single kid. Every single kid knows about what we're talking about, okay? What about Ryan makes him different from everybody else? You know, and that's what we say to him. What made him the victim of the bully? And the last conversation that he has online is that the kid, he gets home from school, he goes on the computer, the kid says, "You're on again," and he says, "After tomorrow, you won't have to worry about it." He says, "You're finally going to kill yourself." And he says, "You'll read about it in the papers tomorrow." And that's the last conversation that Mr. Halligan sees his son have with somebody else online. And this is before the Phoebe Prince stuff, and this is, you know, 2002, 2003 when stuff like this happened. So this is well before, you know, we started dealing with the routine stuff, the Phoebe Prince stuff, the Chalmont High School stuff. So this is something that has been going on for a long time that we're very poor on reacting to. A lot of that has to do with the relationship that the police have with the youth. Sometimes it's the relationship that the parents have with the youth, that they just don't feel comfortable coming forward. And I could tell you from experience, there's times where, you know, one of the good things about a 7th grader is it's really cool to be friends with Sergeant Spain on Facebook. And then when they get to be a 10th and 11th grader, they forgot that they were friends with Sergeant Spain on Facebook. So we see the stuff as they post it, and we know the messages. And there's times where, you know, I don't do the job now, Josh does the job, but there's times where I'll get kids sending me a text message, or they'll send my daughter a text message saying, "Hey, so-and-so's in rough shape, can you have your dad go check on her?" All right? One of the good things I have is I send Josh to go check on her, okay? But it means a lot to us to have that relationship with the kids. And I'll tell you, when I first started doing this job 6 years ago, I never thought we'd get it to where it is now, for us to be such part of that school, inside the thread work that we are, to be included in administrative decisions, as well as being put out there as part of the school network. That was huge to us. I mean, I can remember my first day there. I was in a basement office right across from the football weight room, and none of those kids wanted to talk to me. And that's probably the first time I ever saw that weight room door closed, when I was in my office. And we've gotten it to a level now where we have a huge level of comfortability with the student population. I can tell you how much it helps us in the school. I can't even tell you how much that helps us out on the street. To have kids walk up to you and say, "Hey, here's what happened. Hey, I took pictures of it. Here they are." Okay? We couldn't do our job the way that we do it now without having those relationships. And I'll tell you what, those are relationships that last a long time. I mean, some of these kids come up to me, and the only thing I can liken it to is somebody walking up to you and calling you coach that you coached 15 years ago. You know, you just get that feeling that you've made a connection with them, and you'll always be that person to them no matter what you do. And they'll walk up to us and, "Hey, Sergeant Spain, nobody knows my first name anymore, all right? But it's the best feeling in the world because you know you've made that connection." And Josh is experiencing it already. I mean, we've only started this in September with Josh, and we're in November, and he's already got that relationship. Worked right into the framework and the thread work of that community. And that's huge to us. We want to offer this arena to you guys as much as we can. If there's stuff, we do social networking, we do, nobody wants to talk about it, but it probably won't be for this group, maybe the high school parents, sexting, stuff like that, things that we learn that we can bring back to the community. And if we have the opportunity to do this, we're more than happy. If there's things that you think need to address, drop Josh an email, drop me an email. If we don't have something about it, we'll do what we did when we started this. We just make stuff up, all right? We've never had an original idea in our life. Everything we pull from this presentation, we've stolen from somebody else at some point in time. So, but we're cops, and if somebody doesn't tell us to not steal, we steal. That's, you know, we're very regimented. We do what we're told to do. So if somebody didn't tell us to do something, we're doing it. So if you have things that you think need to be addressed that we're not addressing, or that we have a hole somewhere, let's address it. Because our big thing is we need to be part of this community. And we're not talking about the school environment, we're not talking about the city, we're not talking about the police department, we're talking about the community that we live in. And the best way for us to deal with stuff that we're experiencing now is to act as a community. And this is how we do that. Okay, so if there's things that we're missing, you let us know. You've got our emails. Dial 911, because that's the only way you're going to get a hold of us now. So, but get to us and let us know. Okay? Actually, I'm late, but I'm early because I started early. So does anybody have any questions? Yeah, right. No questions. Yeah.
As parents, make sure you're checking your kids' Twitter account. I'm going through my life where my daughter for Christmas wants an iPod. She's 5. She uses my phone better than I know. She's got all my phone is filled with her games, her word games, her kids games. But just keep monitoring it. We found a lot of kids at the high school are having fake Facebook accounts, and that their parents have no idea they have. So it's on their phones, and their phone's probably going to be on your account. So make sure that whatever apps they have go through your iCloud, so that you can see that, you can log on to that, and you can see what's associated with that. That's huge right now. Kids have like 3 or 4 Facebook accounts, and their parents have no clue. We're seeing that a lot.
I just want to show you one thing before we leave. Your Facebook page in the upper right-hand side, there's a sprocket. If you click on that and click on Help, it'll open up another window. And then if you just type in bullying, and it'll bring up several options for you to choose from. And this is one of the things that Facebook has kind of broadened their horizons a little bit. They're trying to attract the younger population now, and the reason they do that is because the advertising that you see on the right-hand side of the screen, the more people they reach, the more money they get for advertising. But when you type in bullying here, it'll give you solutions to issues that you see. What should I do if I'm being bullied, harassed, or attacked by someone on Facebook? What if my teen knows someone who's being bullied? What should I do if someone who's being bullied reaches out to me for help? So if you click on those links, it'll give you instructions on how to operate on Facebook. It'll tell you how to block people. It'll tell you how to report people. It'll tell you how to get pages deleted. So if you run into issues, just go into that option on Facebook. That's all I got. I've been droning on and on for a little over an hour now. So
if anybody needs me at the school, it's jsprat@watervliet.com. Pretty simple. I have my phone. My email goes right to my phone, or whatever. I don't even know that one. I have 500 emails a day. But if anybody has any questions, or mspain@watervliet.com. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
You're not sitting here. Yes, I am. Move! Give it to him hard. No.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Why you stab me with it? No.
They want to help,
Ow.
but don't know how. Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one...
Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.